Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Steven the Laggy Gamer, and I'm back with a game discussion on Dragon Ball Z Attack of the Saiyans. Just finished it this morning. I know I said I was going to finish it yesterday, last night, but I got tired and I went ahead and just went to bed. And I finished it off today, and wow, what an amazing, fantastic RPG. First off, I'm doing a different camera angle, kind of higher going down. I hope I got better lighting this time. I just discovered I have brightness on my phone, so maybe it'll make things a little bit brighter, even though I don't have enough light in here to do it. So we'll see how it goes, but enough of that. Let's get into discussing this game. Dragon Ball Z. If you haven't heard of it, you must have been living under a rock because it was huge back in my high school days. So it'd be early 2000s. It was just a big time popular anime series that was on Cartoon Network, but of course originated in Japan. And at first, it was a show I didn't really like, but my sister, if you just listen to the podcast, we kind of touched on it briefly. My sister was a big fan of the show, and then I finally started watching it and found out how awesome it was. So it's just been amazing. I've always loved the show, and I just watched the Dragon Ball and the Z series. I didn't watch GT. And when I found out that they had an actual RPG game based on the Dragon Ball Z universe, I had to get it. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I had to get it. And luckily, my GameStop last year had one. It had a copy really cheap. I know it was in the $20 range. And this game right here is actually really tough to find. If you can find it in a GameStop or something with the case still, that's going to be the cheapest deal you can get. So go ahead and try to snag it up. But if you can't, it's worth the money in my opinion. It's just a great RPG, especially if you're a fan of the universe of Dragon Ball Z. Now, if you watched yesterday's video when I was kind of talking about this and being a gym, I kind of said it was better than Final Fantasy IV for the DS, and I'm just comparing it to DS RPGs. And after taking it all in, I don't know. It's a different breed of kind of RPG. It's the same thing, but not really. And when I'm thinking of the scope of a Final Fantasy game, I mean, you have overworld maps you're traveling on. There is a lot more in Final Fantasy games, but all around, I think I just enjoyed the simplicity and ease of how this game was set up more. So that's why I kind of said that, and I think it's why I enjoy this more, just because I love the Dragon Ball Z universe. But anyway, I'm dragging on here. Let's get into the story. Pretty much, if you don't know anything about the series, the game here follows the series pretty much point for point. And it starts off with the 23rd annual World Martial Arts Tournament, and it just goes all the way up to when Vegeta and Nappa pretty much invade Earth. And if you don't know anything about Dragon Ball Z, again, you pretty much have your group of heroes here. Goku's from another planet, Planet Vegeta. He's come down to Earth, and he's pretty much being raised as a human because he doesn't know he's from another planet or anything. But this is him when he's grown up, and they're starting off this world tournament. People who are in the game, Piccolo, Krillin, Tien, Yamcha, those were enemies of his in the past during the Dragon Ball series, and Piccolo was actually a main villain back then. But you'll see in this game how they're all pretty much friends now, and how Piccolo is slowly easing his way over to the good side. So that's a cool thing with this game and the characters. Your villain here on the cover, Vegeta, Nappa, he's another villain you'll see in the game. And also you'll see a bunch of villains make cameos from the Dragon Ball series. So it's pretty cool how they squeeze it all in here into the game. Now, it's been a long time since I watched the series, but I think this game pretty much goes through point for point of how the episode layouts go, and they put it straight into the game here, and they did a really good job with it. And so the story, like I said, pretty much goes with them following each other around, following through the Saiyan saga, pretty much just like that until Nappa and Vegeta get down, and then they do that battle. So that's pretty much, if you're familiar with Dragon Ball Z, then that's the story. But where the game really shines here is in the gameplay. And I'll go ahead and I'll get out the graphics and the visuals. It's pretty much your standard fare on like a DS RPG. The cool thing with this one is the animations during the actual combat and battle scenes are just awesome when you go to battle menus. Now the sprites and stuff for actual overworld maps and stuff, the maps design and stuff, there's not too much to them. You have paths, you know, if you're in a snow level and stuff, or if you're in a jungle, but not a lot going on in them. They're kind of bland environments, really, and they don't branch off much or anything. For there are branches for going to hidden chests and items and stuff, but there's not really too much depth into the core map design. And actually, the overworld map kind of it's not a travel system. It's pretty much a fast travel based system. It's not like a Final Fantasy where you have the overworld and you're walking around. You pretty much have your points on the map, and when you're ready to move on to another area, you just pick that point to go to instead of walking. Now, I kind of like that for convenience sake. I hate walking from a town to town in a game sometimes, but if I know I have a fast travel button, I want to use fast travel, and this game's just pretty much a permanent fast travel. But the visuals and stuff for that aren't the best on the system at all for a DS game. And the sprites, even though they're small, you can still make out who they are as far as the characters and everything. They have some little standouts in them that make you be able to tell the difference between the characters in the series. But like I said, the animations in the actual combat are just amazing when they're pulling off moves with each other. But another downside with the game was the soundtrack. It's you pretty much hear like a track of maybe up to 10 songs, if that, just kind of repeating themselves. The best track being for me the final boss battle with Vegeta. That was just the best track in the game, but nothing real memorable. Nothing that you would hear in any of the episodes here. It's more just it's kind of stuff that would fit into a Dragon Ball Z game, but not the actual stuff. So that was kind of disappointing. It would have been cool to hear the actual American music because I really enjoyed the soundtrack to the American series. And they also used Japanese voicing kind of like for the attacks and everything. You really hear the Japanese voices coming out, and that didn't bother me either. That was actually pretty cool hearing their Japanese voices doing it. Don't think they were original, but it was still cool hearing it that way. But yeah, as far as the visuals and sound, nothing too special. But like I said, where it shines is in the gameplay. It's a turn-based, old school RPG where you're either gonna just go into a battle, you're gonna hit attack, you're gonna hit defend, or you're gonna hit magic or special attack. And the thing that makes this shine, because Monolith Soft did this game, and it's just amazing how they design certain things with the combat system. You have a rage meter, and you're able to kind of work that meter up by landing attacks or actually getting attacked. And when you get that meter full, you'll go into what's called sparkling mode in the game. And when you do that, it gives you access to another set of special moves. You have your regular key moves with a set list, but then once you get sparkling mode, you can actually access the super moves that you have. For example, Goku's is Kaioken ability and the Spirit Ball or Spirit Bomb. So, which I think they call Ultimate Attack in the game. Uh, Once you access that, and those are pretty much ultimate attacks you can do while you're in the sparkling mode. Of course, you use the move once, the meter will go back down, and you have to recharge it again. But you can also do combos with other characters who are sparkling. Say if I was sparkling and Gohan was sparkling, and say Piccolo was sparkling, there are set combos in the game you can do with each other. Say if one person picks a Kamehameha and the other person picks some other moves, if it's the right move set for the combo, they'll all go into this combo scene together where they unleash this massive combo onto the enemy you're attacking. And it's just amazing to watch the animations work out in these battle sequences when they do it. And those really do massive damage. Only problem is you kind of have to either play around with trying to find out what the actual combo is, or you can actually find them around the map and chests and stuff that you just find during the game. It'll actually put the combo down in your menu because there is a place to go where you can view the combos that you've unlocked, and it'll show you the exact people you need to use for the combo. So either way, you can experiment, or you can go ahead and just try to find the capsules that hold it. Another thing the game does to just give it more depth in the combat, because that's where all the depth really is you can level up your special moves and abilities. In the game, not only are you gaining experience, but you are gaining AP points. And those AP points go to leveling up, say, your Kamehameha. You can start off at level 1. You earn enough AP points, you can make it level 2, which will make it even stronger. So I think everything can get leveled up 3 or 4 times. Sometimes, most time, 5 times each. And sorry, sip a drink. And so can your super moves. They can also be leveled up as well. And if you have anything spare, there's another category you can level up, just upgrading your stats. Now every time you do level up, you do go to a stat screen that lets you invest a couple points extra into a stat of your choosing. When you level up, of course, everything's going to go up 1 or 2 points. Then you can actually put an additional point into a stat or two that you want to focus on. Maybe strength and power, or defense, or just anything. So that it's pretty cool how that's set up. Just a lot of depth there. Another depth mechanic they have is the capsule system. When you're walking around just on the map in the overworld, you have abilities that you can equip to the character through capsules. And if anyone's familiar with the Budokai series and equipping capsules to your character, you'll know what I'm talking about. But these capsules will either give you little bonuses like maybe extra experience in the battle, or always getting first attack, maybe a chance to poison the enemy when the battle starts. So those are other little additions in the game that make the game even more in depth. And then there's stuff where one of the cool things in the battle system is the active type of guard system. Say you don't want to select defend and you just want to keep all out attacking, where the game gives you a way to cut down some of the damage, maybe even dodge the attack completely through the active guard system. How that works is each battle, when you have a full party, you can have up to 3 characters on the screen at the same time for your party. One's mapped to the, I believe it's X button, one to the Y, and I think A or B, whichever one's down at the bottom. And every time your enemy attacks, you'll see a quick flash above the person's head who they're going to attack. Now, if you hit the right corresponding button to that player, they'll defend the move. It might not block all the damage, but it will cut damage off from the attack, or like I said, sometimes they'll actually miss. So it's really great that Monolith Soft put that in the game to give you an extra option to defend. So it really makes the combat fun, keeping on your toes to try to defend. And when you get to these end boss battles and stuff, some of them are pretty tough to where you have to, if you're not hitting that active guard, you're just wasting your time because damage is just going to wail you and you're just going to be healing the whole time. So you're going to want to use that guard system. So yeah, where this game shines is that combat system right when you go into a battle. Of course, they are random battles. It's not an enemy on the screen you see. It's going to just pop up and be random. Sometimes more than others, I felt like it was constantly getting random battles. But near the end of the game, I was having fun actually doing some grinding on some enemies that were given a ton of XP. And speaking of that, there's an enemy in this game, like in Dragon Quest games, how you got the slimes and stuff. In this game, there's a thing called a Dodo. It's D-O-D-O-D-O. If you run into one of those, it's like the rare monster in this one, and you're able to kill one before it runs away, you get tons of experience. So it's pretty fun trying to be able to hunt those down and kill them. But yeah, it was just fun actually fighting some enemies near the end, just to kind of level grind. And if I had one suggestion without trying to spoil the ending of the game, or another little downside of the game, it's going to go back and forth between certain characters during certain stories and certain chapters. And there are times where eventually when other characters meet up with each other, their levels are offset big time, and you're working on trying to get one character caught up to the rest while they're still leveling. So some feel overpowered while some feel underpowered. It's never got a good balance. And near the end of the game, I was thinking I was only going to need one character the rest of the game, and I kind of forgot how the TV show went, and there's actually more characters involved than what I thought would be. And if you don't have other characters leveled up near the end, it could make it rough for you. Luckily, I'll say my main character who I thought was going to be in the battle, I had him up in the 60s from the final battle, and I wind up having to use some characters that were in their 30s still. So if that gives any indication without spoiling, just make sure you're leveling up other characters. You could be in for a tough battle. Like I said, I was still able to beat it, but it just made it longer and more tedious, which kind of made it more on edge. But yeah, other than that, I don't know what I'm missing here. I know You can equip equipment to characters too. You have the capsules, and you do have equipment you can equip to each character. So that's some more stuff that adds even more to the combat. So again, if you haven't heard of it or haven't played it, or if you're a fan of the show, definitely check out Dragon Ball Z Attack of the Saiyans. It's unfortunate because I don't think it even has it to be continued at the end. Like, it's going to go into the Frieza saga, and they're going to go to Namek. But it's a shame because we're probably never going to get it made, and I don't even think there's been a Japanese release for it. So, it's a shame because I would have loved to play through the rest of the saga and stuff because this was just such a fun game. Just reliving the Dragon Ball Z glory days. It was fun. So, if I missed anything, I apologize, but I was just excited to talk about this and get this video out there. So, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you give it a chance, especially if you're a fan of the series and the show. And I'm actually going to do, since we actually talked about Dragon Ball Z in the podcast as well, I actually have some old drawings back here from 13 years ago, 12, 13 years ago that I did, that I'm going to go ahead and show off in another video, the next video after this. I'll just give you a glimpse of, because I used to try to draw the Dragon Ball Z characters. Some are just dirt awful, but it's pretty cool how you can see my progression, how I slowly get better in trying to draw these things. And some are actually pretty good. I think I did a good job on a couple of them, not all of them, because most of them are garbage. But I'm just going to show you guys that for fun. Hopefully I can get a setup to show you guys that with the still camera. But yeah, just look forward to that if you're into any type of drawings or anything, or want to see how bad I draw. So, anyways, thanks for tuning in to this episode of my thoughts on Dragon Ball Z Attack of the Saiyans. I think I rambled on enough about it. Go get it if you can find it. Go play it if you like RPGs, especially if you like Dragon Ball Z. I'm Mega Gamer. Liking out.